You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Hart of Dixie After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Hart of Dixie After Show.
Yay! We gotta listen to it. We're back, finally! Hart of Dixie, Bing is for doing, and we're back with our Hart of Dixie After Show. We're in Season 2, Episode 11, called Old Alabama. And that's definitely what they tried to show us today.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're glad to be back. I'm your host, Whitney Lane, and I'm joined with my beautiful co-host.
Hi, I am Paige Sullivan.
I'm Christine Archer. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Renee.
So we're going to just dig right into Pioneer Days, because that was what the episode was about. Kind of weird, right? Go ahead. Tell us what you're
The
thinking.
title to me sounded like it was going to have something to do with football.
I was
Pioneer Days.
hoping.
I mean, I guess in the timeline aspect, football season's kind of over, but
Right.
It just
there could have
ended,
at
though.
least, yeah,
like
there could have
last
been,
week.
there
also,
could have been
like-
some bowl game or something.
They're orange picking in like December, January.
But
which
you
I
can't
don't think
do
you can
that.
actually do. So I don't think
Do
the
you
timeline
actually
is...
orange pick? I've only heard of like
No.
apple picking, because I've actually done that before, but I don't know about orange
Yeah,
picking.
I think there's orange picking. I mean, down south, there's orange trees.
I think you can do it, but not in January. Like,
I have no idea the timeline for oranges.
Well,
They don't know the timeline.
Too bad it wasn't football. Instead, we got to see what they called Old Alabama, and they had Pioneer Days in Bluebell, and it was a little bit interesting, if I do say so myself. So let's talk about Wade and Zoe, because it kind of started off, and they are in love, y'all. It's like
Adorable.
lovey-dovey happening.
So cute. I loved it. At first, I was so excited. I was just smiling watching them like canoodle in the kitchen. And then Sourpuss Lavon was there. But
Yeah, he's, been heartbroken, I guess,
Ugh,
but
it's kind
he
of
doesn't need to rain on everybody else's parade. Finally, we got what we wanted, Zoe and Wade together. It's a little weird, I must say, sometimes for me to watch, because I'm like, it was always that like banter back and forth, and now they're actually like, kind of into each other, and it makes me, I
They're
don't know,
like
it's
really
weird.
into each other. They're not kind of. They're kind of seem like they're obsessed a little bit. And he was like, "I'll be home late tonight, honey." So they're like living together now, and it's very strange.
they
to
sound
me.
like a married couple.
They
Especially
do.
like with all the bickering and fighting. And I don't know.
Well, there wasn't bickering and fighting until we got. I don't even know how to say her whole full name.
I think we should stick with the initials.
LLJ.
JJ.
Because he said it was funny, WWLLJJD. Like, I
Jones was
don't-
her last name. That's all I
Lucille
know.
Jones. We'll shorten it. Her first name was Lucille.
So, okay, well, Zoe and Wade, they kind of are like, you know what, we got to help Lavon out, because we're living in his house. He's depressed over Ruby leaving. And, he's kind of let his mayoral duties just kind of kick to the wayside. So Southern Living's coming to Pioneer Days, of all things, in Bluebell. And he's like, yes, we could be in this magazine, but he feels bad because he hasn't been doing his job. So Zoe and Wade decide they're going to be the founding couple of Bluebell, LLJJ. And Wade, whoever her
What his
husband was
name was.
named.
Mr. Johnson. I mean, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones.
But, I mean, come on. If you're going to pick a founding couple, you're going to pick Zoe and Wade. Like, Lavon, you're smarter than that.
I
Yeah.
mean, better than Brick and Shelby.
But why not Wanda and Tom?
That's what I
That's
was
true.
thinking. They were both so excited to be there, like,
So gung ho.
about Pioneer Days,
Can I just add? Okay. It seems like the show usually has one of their made-up holidays to correspond with an actual real holiday.
Right.
So what is Pioneer Days? Because we already have Thanksgiving as Thanksgiving.
Right.
And like, what is Pioneer Days?
And I guess they kind of skipped over. Did they do even a Christmas
did a
episode?
Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
that's
Yeah,
right.
last one.
But maybe
not that has to be the same time as something else, but
well,
just,
it's just
what
like their
mainstream
founding.
holidays?
I think it's just the founding of Bluebell.
Okay, it's 4th of July.
Right, yeah.
They
for
look
Bluebell.
like the Felicity and Addie dolls. from
American Girl
American Girl
dolls.
doll. That's what and so yeah.
I guess maybe that's fun for the wardrobe department. They get to, or really it's a pain in the butt, I don't know, but they get to kind of do something different
I bet it
instead
would be
of
fun. I bet it would be
clothes.
really fun. I kind of liked seeing them all dressed differently.
differently. It was just weird. It was very weird.
This whole
holiday.
episode-
So you guys are fine with the holidays that they're doing. You don't think they're
Well, this
getting a
is-
little
I think it's a
far-fetched?
little annoying that I feel like it's happening too much. I mean,
Yeah.
we just had a Christmas episode. I think it was time just to have, what happens in Bluebell episode, their daily lives, the struggles and conflicts, instead of having this.
Well, I guess this was a way though, because they have to tie in this like founding couple, and Zoe and Wade have just become a couple. So it's like, how can we make them like pretend that they're gonna be in love?
I get it because they had to show Lemon hating, or Lavon hating Lemon, or not hating, but being cold to her.
Hating or hitting?
Hating Lemon. But they had to show that. They had to show Lemon and Annabeth trying to get into the magazine and all of these different relationships. And maybe they thought the easiest way to bring all of those to one place. But it just seems like they do too many of these things. I think
Right.
it would have been nicer just to have an episode that even let us see them as a happy couple for a whole episode. We haven't even seen that to already ruin it.
Well, I mean, you could assume, though, it's going to be Zoe and Wade. They're going to have that. They have to. It can't be perfect. But I think the whole point of this one was, like, everyone back in the olden days in old Alabama must have kind of covered up all the conflict. And so that's what they kind of had to do for this. Because Lemon couldn't really go out there and tell everyone that she was a part of Pioneer Days or blah, blah, blah. So they kind of covered it all up, and then it all comes out because it's obviously Bluebell and it's normal modern day. So I guess that was just a way for them to do it. I do think they need a little bit more meat in these episodes because we were like, man, there's not much to work from in this one.
After the breakup of the love triangles, all the ones that existed, Zoe, Wade, George, or even Lemon, George, Zoe, all of that, after that all kind of fell to the wayside. I feel like it hasn't been much content. It's just happening every episode.
I think that's why they're kind of like choosing to have an event that each episode is about, like you said, because it gives it like some sort of substance, but at the same time, not really. It's just like we talk about the event, but not really like nothing's really happening at the same
Right.
time.
And I think it makes it worse because it's set in a small town. So it's like, where
There's
are you
not
going to get
much to do.
Yeah, there's not much to do. Whenever a new character comes, it's pretty much they have to be from another town. We've never heard of them before they come to Bluebell. So I think maybe that's part of the issue.
Yeah, and we're starting
as
to see
well.
kind of other layers of the characters because you see different relationships evolving and things like that. So I'm sure it'll get juicy again. I mean, we already saw for the preview next week, George and George's parents are trying to get them back together. You knew that wasn't just going to go away, that whole triangle. So I feel like, it'll all come back. But, maybe they're just starting it off
Happy?
easy, and we'll start to see some different layers coming out. But let me just say, if my boyfriend decided to do the things that Wade did just to get a rise out of me, it wouldn't have taken one time. You're correct. It would not have taken very long for me to smack him upside his head. But what did y'all think about what he was doing?
I had a lot to write about this, believe it or not. I thought that this episode, I mean, not to bash the episode even further, but I thought it was very sexist. Maybe it's
What do
just-
you mean?
That a woman
It
should
was-
hide her feelings
Yeah.
to protect her man.
Okay, not only that, but number one, let your man do whatever he wants to. Number two, like, make a quilt, a sweater, a flower arrangement, a project that was all very stereotypical, like, female things to do. It wasn't like, oh, go change a tire, oh, go play video games or something. It was all like things that females do, And then number three, like, grin and bear it. Like, your being in a relationship is more important than your happiness.
Yeah, which I think
I didn't like that.
Well, I know, but I think they eventually came out the other end, though, because they showed Zoe can't keep her mouth shut. She's not going to let him walk all over her. So they show what a modern day woman's like.
I thought they did too until Cricket ripped the page out of the book and she's like,
Well,
oh,
that's
well,
cricket.
don't tell anyone that happened. Instead of just being like, yes, finally I can scream at my husband for
I just think it's they're trying to show the difference between a girl like Zoe who grew up in New York, grew up in a different way than this girl who's Cricket and Lemon and Annabeth. They grew up with this way of mind that they are supposed to be cooking and cleaning and pleasing their husbands and doing these womanly projects. And I think that's what they were trying to show. And yeah, that's annoying that Cricket is willing to lie to everybody else, but I'm glad that at least Zoe acknowledges the fact that there are things in a relationship everybody knows, sometimes just let it go. But this episode, it was just so annoying to watch her just be like, you're right, it's okay.
I know,
All
but
right.
there are people like that. And
like
I don't
Whitney,
have,
you're from the South.
That's what I
and,
was
like,
about to
you
say.
would smack somebody in the head. If they,
Yeah, but some people wouldn't either that I've grown up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that matters because that's what they wanted to do with their lives and that's how they want to be. Like, they don't have the desire to be like, you know, like I wouldn't take it, but other people do, and it's not a bad thing because they grew up learning that to be a wife was their job. And that's to each his own, I think, to each her own in that case. But, you know, I mean, it's not my type of life, and that's why I would relate more to Zoe than I would to Cricket or Lemon, but I don't know.
I think it's hard because they're in the beginning of their relationship, you know, and she's reading this book and it's saying how to have like a happy marriage or relationship, and she wants to stay in the honeymoon stage.
Well, she didn't want to be like her parents either. There's all
Right.
those little like reasonings behind it, and she tried, but she knows that's not her. So and she's going to be true to herself. And luckily, she had Wade, who kind of realized that. And he's like, "What is she doing? This isn't her. This isn't the girl that I love. She's acting like Lemon when Zoe's completely different." And I think he actually helped pull that back out of her, which means they really do work well together. I think. I'm just going to go for that.
But George also says, you know, Lemon used to read this, you have to get her to blow up. You know, you have to get her to really mad and to finally crack this. Because if I'm not saying every Southern woman is, I think they're trying to make Bluebell seem like they're all kind of the same person or they all grew up the same. But Lemon never really took crap from George. She never really let him walk all over her. If anything, she ran his life. And so I think it's just every woman down there is a little different.
They did a good job, I think. I think it was a good job of showing what old Alabama probably was like, of these women who just pretend nothing's wrong and then they blow up, or they just go on and pretend it's okay because that's what they've learned, and then showing what it's like today for women or people or girls in a relationship and how they stand up for themselves. So I think it came back full circle. You still disagree?
I disagree. I had the same reaction. Like when she finally stood up for herself, I was like, yay, okay, great. The feminist in me is not so disgusted now. But then when Cricket ripped the page out of the journal, I was like, oh no.
But there's still
that
people
part to
out
me
there like
just-
her.
No, and I totally understand that. But I'm saying, like, this is probably making a mountain out of a molehill. But I'm saying as, like, a national television show that, like, reaches women.
Young girls, a lot of young
girls from all different parts of the country. Like, I mean, Paige, you're from, you know, the Northeast. Like, we're all from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's two different areas right there. There's people all across the country that are watching this show. And, like, what's the message that you're sending?
I know,
You
but I
don't
guarantee
know.
someone
You know how
relates to Cricket and someone relates to Zoe. You know what I mean? Even because it is a national show, there are people who are like Cricket. And they resonate with that character and with ripping
but like
the page out.
resonating with and like having that idea I don't think that the resonation, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think it's the part that like the idea that what the show showed reinforces the ideas or like reinstates them. And not to say those ideas are wrong, but
Well, maybe.
I mean, I don't care for them.
No, I get it, but maybe girls will be like, you know what? We wouldn't have torn that page out of the book. You know, maybe.
Yeah,
Who
hopefully.
knows? But yeah, that's true. I mean, they definitely showed some different types of. Man, we got off on a.
Yeah,
we're
I
like
made a
girl
mountain out of-
power.
I was like, I
made
did
a
not
mountain
think
out of a
about that
molehill.
that
I'm
much.
sorry. I wrote that was my entire.
No, it was actually good.
It was disgusting.
No, it's good because it showed a little bit of a deeper part of the episode that sometimes you don't really notice.
Right, because we were all watching it saying, oh no, I would be so mad if he did
Yeah.
that. I would have said something. But that's us. So, I mean, if we had another girl in here who was different than us, who are we to judge, I guess?
And if I had a boyfriend, then maybe I would be able to give you more advice.
Well, you guys go to iTunes and tell us what you think about that whole situation. We love to hear from you. If you rate and comment our show, we'll keep bringing in good guests and keep doing more for you. But we love to hear what you think. So let us know. Head to iTunes and YouTube and let us know what you think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get on to a little bit more of an awkward situation in the show. Brick and Shelby.
Ugh.
And he's, of all people, he's reaching out to George, his ex-son-in-law, because he also dated Shelby. And it's just uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Poor George did not want to see them getting it on together in the first place. And next thing you know, Brick just keeps on going with it.
They're doing a good job of really portraying real life things. I know people who've had, fathers who have been dating a girl close to their age, and it's just like, that is the most awkward situation, to meet your dad's girlfriend and be like, hey, I think we went to school together. Nice to meet you. And that's honestly what it's going to be like for Lemon when she meets her.
Oh, I don't think it'll be that nice.
Well, I don't think it'll be that nice.
That's what it'll be like.
Oh. We're like, somebody's coughing. Let it out. No, I don't think it'll be, I mean, that's true. It happens. But, like, Lemon's not going to let that go over, I don't think. No. And that's why George had one good piece of advice not to tell Lemon and Magnolia right now. Because,
but it's going to come out.
Oh, it will. And it won't be, hi, nice to meet you. It's going to be like, girl, what you thinking? It's going to be some slapping going on.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna be Shelby because she's throwing that hand around a lot.
She like punched George. I was like, okay, she'll slap him, but she like full on punched him. Also, I feel like after having Tim in here, it's just, I don't know for you guys, but I was just sitting there and I like couldn't even watch it because it was just so strange seeing him and Shelby and
He didn't even mention it.
He just mentioned she'd be back. That Laura Bell Bunny would be back.
He did, and he said that there would be someone for him, and I think we all just assumed that meant Emily at the time, but I don't think he was talking about
alluding to it. I don't know.
Their relationship, though, it's not really based. It's just based off of hooking up, right?
Yeah.
And in his defense, how old is she? Because I don't know if we ever really found out. And she looks maybe like she's a little bit older than George, a little bit younger than Brick, obviously. But she,
a little bit.
I don't know. She has the laugh line. So
well, I think she's. Well, he said she's my daughter's age, so she's probably 30.
He did, okay.
And he's what, 55, 60, and I don't know.
65, 100. It's fine.
No,
I'm joking. Rick, I'm just giving you a hard time because I can see it.
But it is a little interesting. That's I don't know. That was just a big twist, I think, for it to keep going. And he was like, this isn't right. I probably shouldn't do this. Even though he really wants to be with her for whatever reason.
He doesn't want to be with her. He wants to be with her.
Right.
It's like he's like, we have to stop this, and then she's like, I got all this hot lingerie.
I know. And he's like, well, forget that.
Lingerie? Okay, I'll meet you at my place.
Whatever. There's nothing wrong with having a little fun, I guess.
What did she give him? Did you guys catch that?
Sweater.
Was it an Argyle sweater?
Yes.
Okay.
Matched his eyes.
Oh yeah, I guess. I was prepared. I mean, she's like toned on the crazy a lot, which I think is a good thing because when she was with George, she was way crazier and like. What was she giving him, like something for his pillow or something? I don't know. She was doing some crazy stuff when she was with George. So I think it's good at least that she's like not
that crazy
anymore.
I wonder if it's because they're hiding it from everyone though. Do you think that she'll? Yeah, I mean, I think she's toned it down, but like right now, no one knows. And with George and her, they were kind of out in the open, so she could just be who she is.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, I think she's gonna get sick of that because she was like, we're hiding it from everyone, no one knows. But I think eventually, if this does continue, she's going to eventually be like, I mean, we need to tell people, or someone's going to let it out. George will probably let it slip or something. But
I want it over.
You know what? Let him enjoy himself for a little bit longer, and then move on to somebody.
I know, it's just weirding me out. Weirds me out. I don't like watching it.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, very Hugh Hefner-ish. She's this ditzy little blonde girl. She's pretty.
He's not 60 years older than his significant other.
Yeah.
But I think it's so funny that the whole episode he's like running to George. He's just like, George! And George is like, crap, get me out of this situation.
I liked it though because we haven't seen much of George really. And with Tansy out this episode, I didn't think we'd be seeing him play into this episode much. And I kind of miss the season 1 of George Tucker. He was in almost half of every episode. We were seeing a lot of him, and it was the whole George Wade thing, George Lemon thing. But I miss him being in it, and I feel like he's become a very goofy character. I feel like he hasn't really had much substance to him as a character other than to be the guy that is running into Brick, having affairs with Shelby, or fighting with Brick in a restaurant with Shelby. He's not... His character right now is basically based off Brick mostly, and sometimes Tansy.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now he and Brick are going to become, yeah,
Besties?
George, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that once again goes back to the fact that there's not quite enough people in Bluebell. There's no one that's really Brick's age that he can hang out with. There's no one that's really educated like George that he can hang out with and golf with. So can we get some, I don't know, can we get some more diversity?
Maybe we have to combine two towns, two little
That's
small
what I'm
towns,
thinking.
merge, or even
Something
the
gets
schools.
annexed.
Yeah.
And they have to.
I mean, I guess it's kind of true to life, but there are usually a little bit more, few more people to deal with in it. I guess we'll see who they pull in. Maybe that'll just be open to some extra special guests coming in, which would be nice. Although
hope
then
so.
You don't know if they're going to stay or not.
As long as they're not crazy and blonde, it's fine. But
Yeah.
it seems like the only special guests they get are all, like the curly blonde-haired crazy girls. So.
True.
Hey, we had Ruby for a while on there.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Well, and I thought it was funny, too, that George kind of used Wade's compliment sandwich. So he is kind of becoming more of like a carefree type, more like Wade, but not the extreme of Wade. And then Wade's actually becoming a little bit more like George, at least in his relationship. I mean, he cares a lot about Zoe. So maybe it's kind of like I said, we're seeing different layers of these characters, which is good. And I think we'll see more from
Yeah, maybe
George
right now
soon.
we're feeling like it's a lackluster episode, but they're just trying to
Ease us
make these characters evolve and have different emotions and feelings and range in who their character is, so that way when things start happening, we won't be shocked by their actions, or who knows, I don't know.
Do you guys think, this is a complete side note, but because George really has, he is almost just like a character on the side now versus being one
Right.
of the main characters. And I feel like he and Zoe, at least in my opinion, are just completely done. It doesn't seem like they really have anything anymore. Do you guys think there's any
mean,
chance that they would get back together?
With next episode, or what's about to happen?
Even in the next couple, the rest of the season.
No.
there's going to be
think-
something because that's what they alluded with from the beginning. It was always
Yeah.
that you can't have each other, and people are going to be fighting for them, obviously, to have each other if that's what actually happens. But when they had their little interaction towards the beginning of the episode, I thought it was really awkward between them because it's just like, oh, how's Wade? How's Tansy? It's like they don't have that chemistry like Zoe and Wade have. They just
They
had that
never did.
comfortability. So I don't know.
I don't think they ever had. Yeah, they were always comfortable with each other. They both loved New York. They were smart people. They were city people. They knew life outside of Bluebell. But like you said, there's such a spark between Zoe and Wade. I don't think, even if there's ever a time where Zoe questions her feelings for George again, I don't think it would be something that would make her leave Wade. I mean, unless Wade were to do something that he shouldn't, which
knows?
he's been known to do. So
I could see her trying it out with George, though, and then somehow it wouldn't work out. Just because it just doesn't seem like they fit. They get along really well. They have a lot in common. I could see them trying it at some point if there are seasons upon seasons of this show. But right now, I hope not because it's just getting started with Zoe and Wade. I want to see more of that.
I agree. I feel like at some point she's going to have to say, but I don't know because I never gave George a chance.
Right.
And I disagree. You said they didn't have chemistry last season. One of you two did. I think they did.
I don't
That's
think
why
so.
I loved last season so much. When they had that first kiss and the entire season, I was just rooting for them to be
But I wasn't
together.
because it was I thought that they had chemistry only in the sense of I can't have you, so there's a little
Exactly,
something
yes.
there. I think even just when they're together, it's just we should be together, we fit really well together, but it's not like that big spark that's the passion and the get along and, I don't know, that's just what I've always seen for George.
yeah, I felt like you want what you can't have. They couldn't have each other. They both had things in their life holding them back. And I think that's what the chemistry was. Because even at some points I thought, why doesn't she just end up with George? Because it's too hard. Because the cat and mouse game with Wade for a while was just annoying. It was just too much. It just kept going on and on. But now I think we're at the point where they both moved on and it's null and void what happened between them. It's not even a factor anymore.
It almost seemed like that was expected because they fit well together, the New York background and all that. It's like, oh, people expect that they're going to get together. So at least they kind of shifted it off and are exploring other people. Okay, well, what about the Pioneer Days and Lemon and Annabeth and the whole Lavon situation? Let's talk about them.
I'm still so mad. Lemon has had every opportunity in the book to tell Lavon that Ruby was being extremely rude to her, and that's the whole reason this entire thing started. And she just continues to not say anything. And I don't really. I get it, but at the same time, it just doesn't really make sense now that Ruby's gone that she wouldn't bring it up and say the only. She was drunk and she said that, and Lavon knows that. But I don't think that was the real reason, though.
She didn't even say it, though. The thing was, she never even said, I was with, Lavon, she just said, you aren't the only woman he's ever loved, or something along those lines. She never said it was me. I think Ruby obviously
Well,
took
it was
that.
obvious,
It was
yeah.
obvious, but she was provoked. I think Ruby was never kind to Lemon, but I think the reason she doesn't say it is because she loves Lavon, and Lavon obviously cares deeply about Ruby, and she doesn't maybe want to tarnish that, what he had in his mind or what he thought he had with her, because if that's what made him happy, why even take the memories away from him?
Well, she had her chance right then, and I think he was kind of he was digging for it a little bit. Like, after the whole situation, because obviously, like, he kind of set Annabeth up to get to do this whole thing with Southern Living and really get the attention on her. He knew that Lemon had her little scheme. Like, he knows her well. They've been in love. He knows exactly that she's scheming. But when she walked outside, she was really upset because she tried to make up with Annabeth at the end. Lavon knew. He walked out there. He was like, what was this all about? Like, why did you do this? Why did you tell Ruby that thing? He was like, accidents aren't really accidents. You know they don't really happen. And that was her chance, I think, to be like, I did it because I'm still in love with you, which she is. And that was her chance. And I think he was digging a little bit, but she was like, because Ruby's just been so mean to me. And it's like she wanted to say, you could see that she wanted to tell him the truth.
She started to. She was like, because, and then she stopped herself.
And I think he knew, but then he was just like, that's what I figured. Kind of like, not that I figured Ruby was being mean to you, but I figured that you really just can't open up to me and really, like, make us work.
Maybe she's scared of rejection. No, I mean, she always controls every situation and always has a scheme. And, like, with this, it could go either way. Like, he could, give her a second chance, or he could be like, no, I don't want my heart broken again. So maybe she's scared that she won't hear what she wants to hear.
I think that's true. She's always she does try to control it, but in the end, like, you have to be vulnerable if you want to end up with this guy. Just tell him the truth. What does she really have to lose? It can't get worse from what it's like now for her.
No.
Yeah.
But they alluded to the fact she's with Walt. So she's with Walt.
Okay, I was really confused about that. I wrote that in all capital letters because I'm sorry, we saw Walt once?
Twice.
Twice. Okay, twice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about the auction.
first time.
But no, so she's allegedly dating Walt, but literally he has been in one episode recently, another a while back, where he was barely even in that episode.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even a real thing.
That's because she doesn't really care. This whole situation's gonna be such a cat and mouse between Lavon and Lemon, and who knows when it's actually, maybe something will develop a little bit with Walt, but it's still gonna be that whole, because I want to tell Lavon that I love him, and Annabeth's gonna be like, oh, you should tell him, and then it's just gonna be like that forever.
Do you all like Lavon and Lemon together?
I actually do.
I do.
I don't know.
I actually do, because I don't know, I just saw it there, He was always like her rock in a way, and she actually, if she opened up to anyone, it was Lavon in the past with the relationship and talking about George and that whole situation. And you don't get to see that.
Too.
Yeah, you don't get to see that much. Like, he knows about Lemon, and he loved her for it. And I think that's what she didn't get out of other relationships. I actually like them together, and I never thought I'd say that I even liked Lemon from the past seasons, but I really am kind of on her side. Like, I felt bad for her on this episode.
I did too, because she works so hard, and she's always trying, she was trying that independent woman thing, that she was going to make her own business and be successful, and she finally has a chance with this catering company, and Lavon just won't let it happen this episode.
He had to get her back a little bit from the whole Ruby thing, but you obviously don't like Lemon and Lavon.
I don't. I don't.
What? Why? You like Tim and Ruby better, or just nobody? I mean, we know you like
Dee Dee.
Lavon,
Did you like
but-
Dee Dee?
I've said this before. I just want Lavon to have, and I guess it was not in Ruby, but I just want Lavon. I don't know what it is about him and Lemon. I just want him to have a relationship that we see from the beginning, that develops, that matures, and that works out. I guess we kind of saw that with Ruby, but then it didn't work out.
Right, because I think Lemon's always going to be in the background, ready to kind of.
Yeah, to mess something up. Like,
I don't think she does it on purpose, but I think she cares a lot about him that it comes out. Like, I'm sure in the back, I mean, I guess accidents, like he said, they don't just happen, but I mean, Lemon obviously likes him. She just needs to, you know what? She just needs to tell him if it's not going to work out, then they both can move on. But
this is so frustrating because I feel like this show is on, and I guess this is what keeps the viewers on the edge of their seats. It's always moments where people either don't say what they should say in that moment or say something when they shouldn't say something.
Yeah,
that's true.
With her telling Ruby, that's when you keep your mouth closed. With her not telling Lavon in the moment that she still likes him, that's when you should speak up. Mm-hmm. With her, blabbing to the southern living lady.
no.
Like, you're gonna reap the rewards of this if you end up being in the magazine. So why are you speaking right now? Zip your lip. Like, so that just drives me insane.
I agree.
So okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of sums up the show in general. I just think, I mean, that's what happened. But
This was a frustrating episode, I think, for us to watch.
it was.
For a
We were
lot
just
of
like, give us some meat. Give us a little bit. But, you know,
Instead of just like the annoying things. Like,
Speaking of meat, really fast, meatball.
oh, gosh.
Sorry.
Good one. Good segue. Weird.
Who was he? Like, where did he
friend.
come from?
Wade's
Why
old
was he
friend.
there? Like, I don't know. That
he's
honestly,
that drunk, annoying friend.
I don't really have much to say about him, but I was just very confused.
He's like
where,
Wade's old days, and that needs to just be cut off.
Yeah.
And not be going to whatever the strip club was called. What was it called?
Foxtrap.
It's just like, come on. Meatball, you drunk.
Clever name.
Meatball, yeah. Just
Team-
sloppy
we can-
jalopy.
Lemon and meatball can get together.
Yeah, right. She won't even. Well, that's what I was going to say. Meatball, and then you've got grog winch. And I was like, what? I literally had to ask 5 times what they were saying. I did not understand what that is.
Have you never been to medieval times?
Yeah, or
like the
I need to
restaurant
go
with the
there.
wenches.
I want to go there.
Yeah.
But of course, even when like Tom was the one that asked her for a refill, and she's like, heck no. You know, like lemon is still lemon. You can't make her a grog wench. But it was
I
just like,
know.
what is a grog wench? Now I get it. It's fine.
Isn't a winch a derogatory term?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Actually,
She's
I
like
had a winch once
waiting
in
on
school and I
everyone.
You
got
don't
in
want to do
trouble.
that.
Yeah, don't do that at home, people. So that was kind of, you know, then Zoe and Wade, they kind of blow up in front of all those poor kids who have to listen about Wade going to a strip club. Like, no. Know your time and place. Exactly like you
Exactly.
said.
Another prime example. And when she should have said something to him when they were not in front of the entire town, she zipped her lip. Like,
When her shoe's being eaten by a raccoon
when her
and
Christian Louboutins are being eaten,
Yeah, no.
she doesn't say anything. See? Prime example.
it's like frustrating because it's like, come on, girlfriend, like say what you think. Everyone, all of them, say what you think. But I did like the ending, how kind of Wade comes in there, and you know, everyone pegs him for like a dumb guy, but he really is smart, and he knew her enough to be like, I've got to kind of get a rise out of her so we can actually get back to the real Zoe.
Not with the shoes, though.
Well, it got her a little bit. But they were so cute at the end, you know, after he's like, read this last page where it's normal that not everyone, after 60 years, LLJJ, it blows up over a wagon wheel that's broken. Obviously, you know, people are going to not hold it all in their whole lives. But he finally kind of brought it up to her, and it's like, and then he's like in a shower, and she's shaving, and he's using her shaving cream. It's really cute, minus the whole like, that was just odd. The whole
Smacking each other. And
with this towel.
it just kept going. It was too long, I think.
yeah.
What was?
Like if he'd hit her.
Michelle taking it there. No, what was too much was the whole shaving cream thing. I'm just like, okay, you did it for a second. This is just kept going and going. I was like, end, and it finally did.
Thank God.
What else? Anything else we have to cover? I think we got it pretty well.
Yeah.
We got some good stuff for next week. We'll get to our news and gossip then.
Ready.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Alrighty. Wilson Bethel, the guy we were just talking about, and the towel that we all wanted to fall down that didn't. He's actually going to be in the February 2013 issue of Cosmopolitan magazine. I do believe that's on stands now.
What's he gonna tell us?
He's telling us advice from your favorite bartender. And the article includes several, you know, little tips and that he's giving to women, but one is they ask him, what would be a deal breaker for you, Wade? He says, if a girl can't dance. It's not about actually being able to dance. It's about the willingness to dance. If you aren't willing to try to cut loose on the dance floor, then you are useless to me.
Oh, useless. That's
Useless.
harsh. However, I do like that. I mean, you got to be able to get out there and have fun. Now, is he speaking from Wade's point of view or Wilson's point of view?
I think Wilson's point of view.
Okay.
Yes.
So he wants someone who's a little bit fun.
Not to sell Wade to dance if he comes
Yeah.
in.
My
We'll make him dance
question,
if he
though,
comes in.
I don't know. I think it's just all about your willingness to cut loose. Is that why you want me to be able to dance? But anyway, that's just, you know, a side note. Wilson also is going to be in a short film. It's called Inside the Box. The plot is as follows. When the local district attorney comes knocking, a Texan cop, that's Bethel's character,
Okay.
is forced to face a secret that he's been hiding from his wife in an effort to keep his family together.
That sounds straight off a Lifetime.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
It does.
And you can find that trailer on YouTube if you're interested in that.
Wait, so he plays a Texas cop. It's like he's always a Southern guy, but
He's not
he's
even
not
from the
South.
South.
He's from New Hampshire. That's interesting. I guess you got to play your type. He's got it. Doing well.
Yeah. So, also, the HollywoodReporter.com, they did an interview with the executive producer of the show, Layla Gerstein, and a few of the questions that they asked her, is the George and Lemon pairing still on the table? And is that possibly revisited in the future? She says, for me, that is one door that I can say I don't foresee revisiting in the near future.
Good.
Well, good.
So we can scratch that off of our list.
We
we were hoping for that.
As for Lemon and Lavon, they may not happen this season.
I
It
know,
may.
They got to drag it out.
She says it may not happen this season, but it may. So,
So it's up in the air.
Yeah, up in the air. Typical, you know. Also, she says a visit to New York is not out of the question, but the majority of the action is going to be kept in Bluebell.
Could you imagine
of
Wade
course.
in New York?
I would love that.
Ooh.
I love
Right,
that.
prediction.
That's
A little
good.
bit of a
I love
prediction.
that. Will we be seeing more singing in upcoming episodes?
I hope so.
Yes.
Yes, 3 big musical numbers,
Yay.
including, drumroll please, a fantastic,
Wait for the drum roll. Wait for it.
a fantastic,
It's a really long drum roll.
Yeah, it's like 7 more
Can
seconds
you
to
just
say it.
turn that off, Steven?
a fantastic musical proposal.
Oh, Tom and Wanda, is it them?
That's what I'm
sure,
thinking.
it's
So you can read the entire.
Let's hope. Who knows? Who
Wait,
knows? But
yeah, hold on.
probably.
Prediction, Brick and Shelby, but keep going.
But you can read the entire article online at HollywoodReporter.com because there are more questions there
cool.
as well. Jamie King kicked it with her husband and best friend Lana Del Rey following the Golden Globes
I
last
saw
Sunday.
it. Cute dress.
Yes,
Yeah, she looked
great
good.
pictures. They went to the Weinstein Company after party where they were photographed together. We've all seen the pictures.
Yeah.
And I was actually online looking at some of Lana Del Rey's videos because she has very unique avant-garde music videos. I don't know if you've ever checked it out. And Jamie actually makes an appearance in her Summertime Sadness video as her, let me get this right, her grief-stricken lover.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yes.
Best
so
friends turned lovers.
yeah, it's kind of old. It came out this
Yeah.
summer, but while you're on YouTube looking at the trailer for Inside the Box, you can also look at that video.
Or watching our
I was
after
gonna say,
show.
watch-
Yeah, watching our after show, doing all 3. Yeah, and then also Rachel Wilson on How I Met Your Mother. She actually is kind of the catalyst for Ted's meeting the mother. She plays Sydney, who's the mother's roommate.
That's cool. Man, she's kind of in the big. I mean, she was even in the finale of Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Rachel Wilson. She is just. She's
was
there when
she?
it all goes down.
Good for her.
So that's all the news and gossip I have for you this week.
Good
Good-
stuff.
yeah, good
Thanks,
stuff.
Michelle. Okay, prediction time.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, people have some. I know it. Who wants to start?
Well, after the wedding bell thing, I really think Tom and Wanda, their relationship's been pretty rock solid. I feel like they're
The
a
only
good fit.
normal one.
They're not even normal.
No,
I mean, they're
but
not normal.
Healthy. It's a healthy relationship.
Seems like a healthy relationship, and we're gonna have Mallory on in a couple weeks, and we can ask her. I mean, if it
Yeah.
hasn't already happened,
And didn't she say that she had
She
a
said
big
she has-
storyline coming up?
that she's really excited about it. So maybe
It
we'll
is
get
her.
lucky.
So
It is
watch
her.
for that, February 19th, right?
Big prediction, yes, February 19th. So I think that will happen. As far as everything else so far, I'm really hoping Brick and Shelby stop. But I think first Lemon and Magnolia will have to meet her. That will have to come to a head. But I'm really hoping that disintegrates very
Drama.
soon.
Okay, what do y'all got?
I want to agree with you, honestly. And I said this jokingly when I said it before about Brick and Shelby, but I just think they might actually continue. I mean, it's just kind of an unexpected thing, you know? Like, Tom and Wanda, we know that they're going to stay together and that they'll get married eventually, yes. But I feel like to keep the viewers watching and to have something different, Brick and Shelby, and I mean, Brick's getting old. He wants to get married. You know, he kind of said with Emily, like, I want you to move in. I want to settle down. So I don't know. I mean, I would hate that, but
It's not out of the question.
I don't think it's out of the question, and I wouldn't be that surprised because now, I mean, he kind of had like where they're on rocky ground in this episode, and then maybe in the future he'll be proposing to her. I don't know. It'd be weird, but
Yeah.
I
I
think
kind of
it's
have to
possible.
piggyback off that real quick because
I
mine's
do
with
too.
Brick.
I
You
have
have
a
one
good
with
one,
Brick?
yeah.
Okay, go.
Shelby gets pregnant and they have to have a shotgun wedding. Okay.
Okay, mine's completely far-fetched because I think,
mine.
I think Shelby and Brooke are going to end up breaking up, but I think Zoe's mom is going to come into this, and her and Brick. It's very far-fetched, but
Oh
you
my
never
God.
know. A visit to New York, who knows if she comes and visits more? That would be more along the same age, you know? Yeah. That
But
was
she's
my,
married with another family now, remember?
No,
Zoe's
not
mom?
Brick's
Oh, you
wife.
said Zoe's
Zoe's
mom.
mom.
Zoe's mom. I thought you said Lemon's mom.
Yeah, but that
Okay.
could be kind of interesting, right? Pulling the whole New York Bluebell, dynamic again. But any other ones we got?
No.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us for our Heart of Dixie After Show. We'll see you next week. I'm Whitney Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Whitney Lane 1118.
And I am Paige Sullivan. You can find me on Twitter at Paige Sull and at perfectpage.com.
I'm Christine Archer, and you can find me on Twitter at CArcher.
I'm Michelle Renee. You can find me on Instagram at Michelle Renee LA.
No Twitter.
I do have a Twitter, but I've never thrown my Instagram out there.
That's
so.
fun.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Changing it up. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.